Neil Atkinson. It's Talking Reds, and it's Melissa Reddy. Always great to have Mel on the show. She'll be on the Anfield wrap later on as well. We're going to be recording that in a minute or two, and one of the things we're going to be discussing on there, Mel, is we're going to be having a chat about, firstly, Liverpool are quiet, but in real terms, everyone's quiet. Even the clubs who are desperate to do business are talking a lot, or it's being talked about a lot, that they're desperate to do business, and yet not much business is being done.
Yeah, I think this is a very difficult market. Usually it can be, but because all the elite clubs are needing to spend a lot to restructure, selling clubs are wise to it. The market's quite volatile at the moment because there's so many big players whose futures are unresolved. Paul Pogba, Neymar, and that sort of has an effect on everything. Because if, for example, say Barcelona do want to bring Neymar back, that affects everything else that they were planning to do or had lined up. And so there's a waiting period for them to sort out what's going to happen there, which then affects the other clubs that perhaps want to buy from Barcelona or were in negotiations for targets Barcelona were also in negotiations for. So I think there's a spiral effect that we're seeing, and it's quiet on the surface. I definitely don't think that's the case beneath it, especially for sides like Manchester United, who absolutely have to do good business in this market, and a lot of it as well.
Do you think there's something, for instance, I saw the rumours linking Maguire to City for 80 million. And one of the things that occurred to me there is that there's an increasing number of sides in the Premier League, but also wider. Ajax are another example, presumably sell the lit, who are then able to have the attitude of, well, we're profitable. We don't need to sell anyone else, and the speed with which it becomes, most Premier League clubs now make a profit.
Yeah.
And yes, transfer sales can be part of that, but Leicester are not reliant on the Harry Maguire money. They don't need to get Harry Maguire out to get other people in. They don't need that at the moment because of the way the Premier League currently is. So therefore they can say to City, well, the price is this much. We're valuing him at this much. We're not even entertaining it. And I'm wondering if that profitability that's happening for more and more clubs means more and more clubs can play hardball with the very top clubs.
Certainly. We've seen it with the business Liverpool have done themselves, last season, the season before. And the issue is, if you don't have patience or composure in these sort of situations, you will have to pay the premium cost. Liverpool have shown that you can, if you take your time and if you play your cards right, and if you're very convinced that you've done the groundwork to convince a player that he needs to come to Anfield. Alisson being the case in point. Roma, after the Champions League final in Kiev, thought, hang on, they're desperate here, because of Loris Karius' errors in the final. And they said Alisson's £90 million in May. So Liverpool said, no thank you, we're not doing a deal at that price. And eventually, the final cost was 25 million, the total package, below the 90 million, and that was only done in mid-July. So, if you are patient, you can profit. City, with the Maguire deal, they know Man United are also interested. City don't generally haggle anyway. Whatever the cost is, they're happy to do it. They're able to. They're financially powerful enough to do that. But definitely clubs are no longer pushovers, no matter who you are. We saw it with Leipzig, who in the greater, footballing scale, and nobody's really and are hoping to become a major player, but their stance with Naby Keita was so obstructive as well. So that definitely influences the market.
Are we expecting there to be some sort of, you mentioned before Neymar and you mentioned Pogba, the sort of deals that free up for other clubs to move, that you get them out of the way? There is, because of the compressed nature of the transfer window now, there probably is some sort of moment coming in the next 2 weeks where 2 or 3 things happen relatively quickly and then a lot follows. I think that's what, and also the other unspoken transfer deadline day is the start of pre-season. Managers want to have players for the start of pre-season, want to be able to work with them, and that's also getting closer and closer.
Yeah, the fact that there are multiple tournaments on the go as well means, a lot of players, agents will say, we're only going to sort out their futures after those tournaments happen. And I think managers, as much as they want players in for the start of pre-season, they will understand the market as it is at the moment and the lay of the land, and realize that that's going to be very, very difficult to do. I do think there will be, like you say, a moment, bang, 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 a lot of big things happening, which will then allow a lot of smaller things to happen. Also, we're talking in today's terms, right? When one of those big things happen, perhaps a player who was quite happy to remain at his club this season thinks to himself, hang on, whoa, that's just happened. My opportunity is now. I've got to force my hand.
Is this where Liverpool come in? Because Liverpool, I think, in the last four windows, you can argue, have been really structured in their approach. It's been clear by even April who the targets are going to be come June and July. That's not been the case this time. Even, for instance, Oxlade-Chamberlain, which went to the end of the transfer window, we were talking that Liverpool wanted him in the May leading up to it, even though Liverpool signed him very, very late to get the deal done as they do. Do you think that Liverpool are in a position where they can play the market a little bit? They can have the idea of, let's just see who shakes loose. We don't have to make any big decisions now. We like who we have, obviously. We're not looking to move many on. And then because that's what I think's happening here. I think Liverpool, it wouldn't surprise me if something comes a little bit out of nowhere after the first sort of transfers break.
Yeah, Liverpool are so stable at the moment, which means they don't have to proactively do a lot. That is a very strong position to be in, like I said, because this is a volatile market. So if you are needing desperately to do business in this market, it is a horrible position to be in, because you're going to get done for fees. You're going to get done in terms of players giving you the runaround because they've got several options of the elite clubs to go to. And they're going to decide things, pretty late. So Liverpool can sit back and watch all of this unfold and think, we're very comfortable with the squad we have. Our business is largely dependent on, outgoings. But we're in a position financially, we're in a position in terms of how attractive we are as a club to act if something that, fits their long-term picture becomes available.
My last little question on this as well is there a pre-season question for Liverpool? You mentioned there before, Liverpool, a lot of sides may not get the players they want in by the start of pre-season. But it strikes me that if you're Jurgen Klopp, you are, for instance, very excited, but also maybe very intrigued by the Ryan Brewster who turns up. That you may even be intrigued by the Kian Hoover who turns up. That there is an opportunity, not these lads are younger than Joe Gomez, but there is an opportunity possibly for one or two of them to stake quite the claim really in the first 4, 5, 6 games of pre-season.
Yeah, and he is very good at doing that. He's very good at allowing the youngsters a chance over the pre-season to show what they're capable of, but also how far away they are or how close they are to their ceiling. And I think pre-season is important. Obviously, you see them throughout the campaign and you know all about them, their characteristics. You're also getting regular reports from the academy and all that stuff. They train with the first team, but how they handle tactical instructions and rigorous tactical instructions and the repetition of it is hugely important, because Klopp players have to be able to do that. He wants his team to be able to solve problems on the pitch, and we've seen the development of Liverpool throughout his time being able to do that. And as much as there'll be intrigue about the young players, I think, when you look at it, you've got Adam Lallana had an injury-plagued campaign last time around. Yeah. But he's stayed behind after the final, remained at Melwood to do extra work, and he's on holiday in Spain at the moment, and he's been working all through his holidays, taken a very short break because he's been told your versatility will be important. Next season, we need you to be in peak physical condition, so he's working on that. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, desperate to hit the ground running. He's done a lot of work during this pre-season, and I think all the guys that haven't gone away with their teams, or like, Jordan Henderson, who's who went on the Nations League but has had, you know,
I think
considerable...
he starts out of the game.
Yeah, exactly. I think those players will form the core of his planning.
Last little thing is your new role, which is pretty exciting stuff. You've gone to ESPN and you're doing the business there now.
Yeah, a lot more work and processes and stuff to get my head around, but it's really good. Nice to have the global sort of feel again, where you're getting feedback from the guys who cover Barcelona and Juventus and all that, so your thinking is a lot more shaped.
Are you going to do more of the sort of the stuff that you really enjoy doing, getting under the skin of clubs, under the skin of processes, under the skin of how they work? Are you going to be able to do that?
Yeah, I have license to do whatever project I want to work on. My focus will still be largely Liverpool, especially on the news front, so it would be nice if it wasn't so quiet, because it's kind of mad starting a new job and they're like, oh, so what are you working on today? And you're like, you know, well, it's pretty quiet as it's going to be all summer.
You heard of Simon Mignolet?
Exactly. So yeah, it's quite fun. I know the Anfield Wrap has a massive US audience, and you know.
Oh, you're going on the tour?
Yes. Definitely going on the tour, but also, you know, ESPN's big market is the US, so most of my content will be timed so the US audience benefits as well as the UK one.
Marvellous. Always great to have Mel around and about. She's going to come and do the Anfield Wrap with us now. We're then doing some other shows today. We're doing the Gutter. Excuse me, I've got another band, This Filth, coming out as well. I think, well, not coming out, but recording it later today, coming out in a week or so. The Market, to have a wider conversation about this just outside of the Liverpool bubble as well. Rob Gutman will be in today and working hard through the week. Thank you very much to Mel. Thank you very much for subscribing. We are getting closer and closer to the point where our paywall comes down on the premium video. Talking Reds will remain free, as will the Anfield Wrap, both video and audio. But the other stuff that we do, the transfer shows and then through the season, post-match pints, etc., that will be... the paywall on that will be coming down from the 1st of July. More information on that through all of the places where you can get us, the audio, the video, the writing and the social media. Take it easy.